So I'm going to core seal up the surface of the fender well and firewall, that part that I've cleaned so far. So wherever there's any surface rust, this is going to convert it. And then I'm debating if I should spray some clear over it or not. I probably will, just so that it doesn't rust any further, but we'll see. Alright, so these fittings are being very difficult to get off. These are the brake fittings. I'm going to try the flare end wrench, and if this doesn't work, we're going to the pipe wrench. Yeah, it's not working. Probably gonna have to take it off and pull it away. Yeah, it's a pain to get off. This is the one I need to get off. I get this one off, I could take this assembly off and put it in a vise to get the other fittings off. Got some help. There. Out. Alright, here is what we generically call proportioning valve, but it's really not. It's just a distribution block. The brake proportioning actually occurs in the master cylinder on Mopars. But anyway, so this bottom fitting here goes to the rear brakes. This top fitting on the back goes to the passenger front. This fitting right here goes to the driver's side front. This fitting goes up to the front master cylinder, and this fitting on top goes to the master cylinder on the rear. So basically it's documented. So when I take all these apart, I put it back together, I can refer back to this video to know what fitting goes where. And we're going to soak this in Kim Dip to get it all cleaned up. Yeah, and I had to use the pipe wrench on this one too. Now that it's off, it was hitting the frame rail, couldn't get a good bite on it. So I put my crescent wrench here, put the pipe wrench on it here, got it to come loose. Keep in mind, you use the pipe wrench on these, it destroys them. This one's been on here, I mean, it's original to the car, and these fittings are just all jacked up trying to get it off. So we're replacing all the brake lines anyway. I got this one to come loose, but I couldn't get this one to come loose. So we're gonna have to use the pipe wrench on it as well. Like that, breaks it loose. Alright, so now we can go soak this. By the way, this one is original to the 68, so you have an idea what a 68 looks like. Alright, I already started to pull the power brake booster loose, so I wasn't going to record this stuff, and then I thought, you know, there's probably somebody out there doing this, doesn't have a clue, never done it before. So it's too difficult to film it in action, but I'm gonna walk you through everything that I've done. So I've got the master cylinder off. Now what's great about power brake cars is it's really easy to get the master cylinder off of the car because the studs are in the power brake booster, and the master cylinder just slides over that, and then you put the nuts on. You pull the nuts off, change the master cylinder. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, manual brakes are kind of a pain in the ass because it has studs that get pressed into the master cylinder holes, and then it goes through holes in the firewall, and then the nuts are on the back side of the firewall. So you got to get under the dash to get those nuts off, and it's a big pain in the ass. So the power brake car, trying to pull the power booster off, it's the same as like a manual brake. There's studs on the back side of the power brake booster that go through the firewall, and they go against or through the brake assembly as well. And there's all kinds of brake assembly stuff that's completely in the way, and it's a major pain in the ass. So let's walk around to the other side. So, and the light's coming out kind of bright. Try to. Okay, so there's a stud there. I don't know if you can see it right there. Not too big of a deal to get to. Right? There's one. I won't even really be able to film to get up there. It's right above it basically, and all this shit is in the way. So what I ended up doing is getting a short, okay, well, two things. Even the factory thought it was a pain in the ass, and whoever put this thing together just put this on like a couple of threads. It wasn't even screwed on all the way. So I was able to get a short socket, which I don't think you'll be able to do if it's tight. I think you need a deep socket. And I kind of came out from this angle, and I was able to get it loose and then pull it off with my fingers. Then on this side, there's two more. You can see where the socket's attached right there. I got a U-joint on it, universal joint on it to flex around. And then there's one up top. So you can kind of see right there. Pulled that one off already. I'm about to pull this one off. So anyway, these three, not so big a deal. That top one, super pain in the ass to get to. So this is what you're in for. I ended up pulling the whole steering column out as well because it was just totally in the way. Sorry. It was totally in the way of trying to get in here to get access to the nuts on this side. So I pulled it out of the way, and it was also in the way on the firewall side because I'm trying to clean up that side so that I can put some core seal on it and derust it and seal it. So anyway, all right, so I got the power brake booster loose. I have to also attach this pedal assembly here, or I should say the bracketry that goes from the power brake booster to the brake pedal. So all of this stuff, because you can't really get in there, I'm going to leave all that attached. I'm going to detach it from right here. This will take it away from the brake pedal assembly frame, and then detach it from here, which is the pedal. So pull those two out, and then I should be able to pull everything out from the firewall side. Alright, here's something I missed. Thought I had everything loose, trying to get it out, and I could feel something still attached. See that spring up there? That spring hooks around the shaft of the power brake booster, and it hooks to the top bracket. It's easier to take it off of that arm than the top bracket. So I popped it off. I'm gonna have to remember to put that back on. I'm not really sure what it does. It's just maybe keeps things from, you know, having any slop in it or something like that. Doesn't seem like it's necessary because it's pulling on that arm up, you know. It's not like it's pulling it away from the power brake booster to put it in a position. So anyway, all right, so just recap. When this thing went together, the factory, hold on, unzoom there. The factory didn't even tighten this bolt because it's so difficult to get to because all the crap that's in the way. I kind of had to get it. I got a short socket on there to break it loose, but I think if it was all the way down, I probably have to get an open end or box end wrench on this to get it to loosen up until I can get a short socket on it. Something else, this little groove right here, there was a spring attached to that going up to the brake pedal assembly above it. Had to pull this nut and bolt off. This goes to the brake pedal, and then this goes to the brake pedal brake pedal assembly bracketry. So when you get all of the new stuff, which I ordered, just make sure that all of this is going to go back in there this way. This guy's got to be down. This goes to the back, etc. Anyway, that's how you pull a power brake booster out. All right, I'm going to show you how to take the wiper motor out. First thing is you got to unplug the harness, which is right here. You can see there's like a key, so you can't screw this up. This will only plug into the top one, won't plug in here. The key for this one is on the bottom. The key for this one is on the top this side. So the wiper motor goes on the top right there. Can't screw that up. Then you take a screwdriver. I already popped this one off, but if it was on here, you take a screwdriver and you grab those little ears there, and that you can use to pry off of those little clips. Do that on both sides and kind of rock it and then pull it off. And there's 3 nuts here, one here, one here, and one here, which I've already taken off. There, right there. And then the last thing, which probably should have been the first thing, is there's a clip on the inside. So let me turn this off to get the light on. All right, get your bearings. Here's the dash. Going under the dash. It's about the center of the dash. All right, see that clip? What we need to do is pop this clip up and then push it this way to pop it off. Alright, I'm not going to be able to film popping the clip off, so I'm going to turn this off for a second. Let me try to zoom in so you can get a good look. Alright, see that? You gotta lift this side of the clip up and then push it in that direction upward to get it off. Alright. Alright. So I just had to turn this so that I can get it into a position where it'd come out of the hole okay. Anyway, there's the motor. I know I don't need to say this. I know all of you guys do this already, but I always put all this shit back on. There. Throw the nuts back on the firewall. You know, there's nothing worse than eat all this crap apart and then you go to put it back together and you're like, oh man, where did these screws go? Did I use the right screws, the right nuts in the right spot? This way we know these nuts belong to the wiper motor. Alright, I thought I'd videotape this. I'm going to pull these clips off of here so it's easier to clean all this stuff up. So, what's cool about doing videos is, and you should do this, you should videotape a lot of the stuff you do. So you think, yeah, no big deal, I'll just pull this stuff off. But then when you go to put it back on, you're going to go, well, did this go here, here, or here? So, now that it's on video, and maybe you're working on your own car and trying to put it back together and you're wondering where all this stuff goes, now you know. So there you go. Alright, for this bottom one, just pointing out that it's a 5/16. It's not a Phillips head like these other two. Yeah, perfect. Alright, so this was something I wanted to point out real quick. A little trivia. You may or may not know, when they put these fender tags on the car, they put them on with one screw, and then they would fold up the fender tag so that they got paint underneath it, somewhat. You know, obviously it doesn't get paint in that corner. And then when they would bend it back down, and then they would put another screw after paint. So there's always one screw that has no paint on it, which is that one, and the other screw which does have paint on it, which is that one. And there's usually a bend in here. Some are worse than others. This one isn't too bad, but you could kind of see it lifting up on this edge. See it lifting up? Now you know why it's lifting up, because it was bent up so you can get paint under there. Did you know it? Let me know in the comments if you knew that or not. Alright, now that I have the fender tag off, you can see the bend, how it's lifting up. So it was bent up like that. The burning question is, did it work? Well, I'm guessing if it had a sharper bend, which you see sometimes, it probably did get a decent amount of paint. This one was probably bent up only about that far based on the bend. So I don't think they really got any paint underneath it. So anyway, we'll hit that with the wire wheel, trying to derust it a little bit. Here's the parts that I put into the Evaporust. Oh, pretty nice. All right, so if you're ballsy enough to do this, if you're gonna go the patina route and do it how I'm doing it, basically I spray core seal all over the surface of the engine compartment to capture any bare rust. What ends up happening is you get this black residue from the core seal. It'll turn black where the rust is and stuff and convert it, but it'll also leave like a black surface, kind of tacky. And so to get it off, I'm using paint thinner that I picked up from Ace Hardware, and then I'm spreading it across with a Scotch-Brite pad. And I'm using brown, which is weaker than the green. I think the green is too aggressive. So something that I've kind of figured out. Now, if you're gonna do this, like, you're gonna lose paint. Some of this paint is gonna come off. So you need to be aware of that. The second thing is that you can't get too aggressive with this. It's like you gotta get it soaked with thinner, put it on here, and then wipe it with a rag. And then you see how there's still black stuff in this area? If I get too aggressive and I keep going after it, all this blue area right here is gonna get really thin and go down to the primer. So what you have to do is like, do it one time, walk away from it, let it dry up, go work another area, and then same thing, just really quick, do a white, and then after a while come back to this area and wipe it again in those high spots, give it a wipe, and then we're gonna walk away again. If I keep going, it's gonna thin out the blue. So it's almost like the thinner is making the blue paint weak with this core seal. And so by walking away and letting it evaporate, the blue paint goes back to being hard, and then the core seal doesn't really change. So I could come back in here and wipe it again. But if I keep going, the paint gets soft and thin and starts to come off. So anyway, that's just a tip because that's what I've seen. Man, I don't know if I'd recommend doing any of this stuff. I mean, you got to do it at your own risk, definitely. When I'm done with the whole engine compartment, I'm going to walk you around the whole car and you can see what it looks like and see if it's what you like or not. Not everybody is into the patina look. I do, I like it, and you know, I don't have the funds to go and restore this car. This car is in really great shape, you know, as far as not a lot of rust, structure's strong and stuff, so I don't need to cut any frame or floors or anything like that out of it. So we don't have any of that work to do. We're gonna skip the paint job and we're just gonna get straight into getting the drivetrain, getting it to run, drive, and stop. And hopefully hit the Tucson drag strip duct tape drags. So that's the goal. Alright, so here's the Charger after core seal and after cleaning it up with some, cleaning the core seal off with some thinner, paint thinner. You can see these areas where there was no paint, like under the fender tag, even though there's supposed to be some, it wasn't bent up very far, so not a whole lot. I don't think any paint got under it. Here where the battery tray arm brace goes, there's no paint. And in these areas where there's no paint, the core seal just turns the rust to black. And you can see here, it got thin. I mean, trying not to take off any of the blue as much as possible, but you're gonna lose some. You know, here, lost some. The paint in areas of the engine bay are kind of light to begin with, so you got to be willing to live with it. Like I said, when you go over something, go over it and then walk away from it and then come back. You got to be, it takes a strong will to do that, because I like to keep rubbing and then boom, you know, you lose some paint. Up in here, kind of thin. So, and this is all natural patina, it's not the faux tina. This isn't any particular process. I am just trying to leave the car patinaed and trying to protect it. So the core seal, I put the core seal on to convert all the rust, which turns it black. So now it's converted. And then I'm gonna, after I clean it all up, which most of it is clean, I'm just gonna do another once over to try to get a little more core seal off here and there where I can. You know, which is like the black that's over the paint. And then I'm gonna clear coat all of this so that it's sealed and I don't have to worry about it rusting anymore. That's what it's looking like. An idea if this is not